Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Attaullah Tarar, Minister of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting of Pakistan, Salim and AlMalik, Director General of the Islamic World Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, Mr. AlMalik, Mr. Zhanyuan, Member of the Standing Committee of the 14th CPPCC National Committee, President of the International Communications Group, Professor Yang Huiling, former Vice President of Renmin University of China, extremely distinguished professor, which I had the privilege to talk to in the past, Tiziana Lippiello, Rector of University of Venice, and last but not least, Lloyd, Nyikadzino, Executive Council Member of the International Theatre Institute. Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Please take a seat. Let me start with Minister Du Zhanyuan here. 中国提出的全球文明倡议到现在已经有2年多的时间了。在这2年多的时间里，您觉得它给全球的文明交流互鉴指出了什么样的新的方向？然后年轻人在中间能做什么？
我个人认为应该高度的。
I personally think that we have to emphasize the diversified elements in the channels of the civilizational dialogue, and as well, we have to conduct the exchanges and dialogues in the different communities, and we have to encourage these young people to use the AI and new technologies to share the dialogue with each other and to express their understanding of diverse civilizations, and to open a new room of communication. So we have to encourage more young leaders to be willing to engage, the young leaders to engage in civilization exchanges, and to encourage them to get great aspirations and offer a platform to them to nurture and cultivate more young people to spread the civilizations in a harmonious civilization garden.
共建美美与共的文明百花园。
I'm going to my second speaker, Mr. Lloyd Nyikadzino, because you're from the International Theatre Association and you are a member of the Executive Council. Tell us about the role of theatre in terms of civilizational exchanges and what unique role has your institute played in this regard?
As you can understand, that theatre is our way of life. So when you come to the table as who you are, then no culture or civilization becomes at the periphery. It becomes harmony without conformity. We don't necessarily have to adapt to who you want to be, but understanding the other. So theater has become a very critical tool that the world can use for soft diplomacy and engagement, where everyone is free to engage without the fear of being judged. We have done our congresses, we have done our performances, where people bring their own cultures to the table, not for the purposes of competition, but for the purposes of exchange, for the purposes of understanding each other. Then theater for me, or the performing arts, becomes a critical and very important tool that world leaders, politicians, academics can use for the world to have peace. So ITI, the International Theatre Institute, which I'm representing right now, has brought over 120 countries together to have dialogue without the fear of judgment, without the fear of putting people into classes or classifying people based on the color of their skin, the language that they speak, the food that they eat, but the ideas that they have and the vision that they have for the future. So for now, I say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I can see. Very interesting, and thank you for your remarks. Next, I want to go to our guest from the Islamic World Education, Scientific and Cultural Organization, Mr. Malik 先生。我们都知道，其实保护文化传统非常的重要，但是到底有多重要？特别是在今天这样一个变化极快的世界，我们为什么还要如此珍视和保护我们的文化传统？
The identity of any country, the identity of people, is their culture. If you do not preserve your culture, and particularly the past, then you cannot live the present and you cannot foster the future. And this is one of the most important elements that we care about in our organization. Now, the future is quite important when it comes to culture. And I don't think that any organization can go forwards for being prosperous, being futuristic, unless they preserve their past and they value the importance of their past. But this is not for us. It is that we have to embed it in our youth. And the only way to embed it in our youth is making sure that universities are involved. Another important issue that we have valued in our organization is that we have created something very important that is in line with the Global Innovation Initiative that is being led by the President of China. And that's we came up with a new concept which we call civilization diplomacy, which we have been teaching our youth. And in civilization diplomacy is that you are linking not just only culture and not only the future, but linking the importance of youth to be involved in making sure that the civilization diplomacy and that being open, being respecting others is something very important.
Yeah. You talk about civilization diplomacy, which is such a refreshing idea, and I think it's a very interesting idea as well. And you also mentioned the role of university, which naturally lead to my next speaker, Li Laoshi. What's the role of education in terms of mutual understanding between civilizations, especially why is it so essential to have young people on board in this practice?
The role of civilizations. I come from Venice, and the minister highlighted the role of Marco Polo, and I want to highlight the importance of studying ancient civilizations, because ancient civilization, as we saw in the case of Marco Polo, was also a vehicle for commercial relations, as Marco Polo witnessed. And I think it is very important to study the language, even in the era of AI, because communication cannot go only through AI. Of course, it is an important instrument, but for us, it is very important because when you speak a language, you think differently, and when you express your thoughts in that language, like Chinese language, you express different ideas and thoughts. So I think it is very important, and for this reason, we ask our students to study classical Chinese in the second year of their curriculum.
That's
so
very
all
difficult.
the students
很难的。
have to study classical Chinese. Yes, 很难, but it is very important to study Chinese thought, Chinese philosophy, Confucius, in order to understand what is the idea of the future for you in China. It is very important to study 论语, 中庸, 色书, and this is the reason why Matteo Ricci decided to translate the 4 books into Latin. So he was the first one in history to translate the 4 books, the 色书.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. Thank you for sharing with us those stories. And may I call on my Pakistani panelists to share with us what is your view or the Pakistan view in terms of mutual learning, cultural exchanges. Also, sometimes there are conflicts, right? We have some differences sometimes, I mean, between cultures that you can have very severe consequences, but in the middle of a crossroads, how does Pakistan look at cultural exchanges?
Thank you very much. It's a real honor representing the Islamic Republic of Pakistan today at this prestigious forum. Being Iron brothers and sisters, this term Iron brothers and sisters is deep-rooted in history and culture. So while growing up, when we hear this term, it reminds us of our commonalities and our common objectives for humanity. Because we not only share a border, we share mountains and we share rivers. The ancient Silk Route, which is now the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, is not only a trade route, it is just not stone and steel. It is a route of friendship, a route which has arts, cultures, cuisines, all linked with it. And I would like to pay my heartfelt compliments to the leadership of His Excellency President Xi Jinping, because he came up with the Global Civilization Initiative. And we are here today as part of that initiative. And I started my journey 16 years ago when I first time came to China in 2009 as part of the people-to-people exchange program. And today, while I sit as a policymaker, those exchanges have really helped us to shape our policy accordingly. It is also pertinent to mention here that our partnership with the China Media Group has enabled us to enlighten and empower our youth furthermore. So we have certain programs going on. We have a program by the name of Hi China, Hi Pakistan, which is a people-to-people exchange program. We have the Huashang Weekly, which is published in English and in Chinese language in Pakistan. We not only have exchange programs, but we have certain agreements which have really helped us shape our future and also to pass on to our youth the rich cultures that our forefathers passed on to us. So now we are moving towards not only digitization, but also preservation of our past. And I think this innovation has enabled us to preserve our great inheritance, and we look forward to a brighter future, to a world where water is not weaponized, but water is used as a means of peaceful coexistence.
Thank you, thank you. Last but not least, Yang Xiaozhang, you're a very wise man, so help us summarize the discussion if you can.
我相信真正
It is all about having a real conversation that's a two-way, that's with questions and answers, with different opinions and different answers. So the speakers of this panel come from different tradition, different culture, and speaking different languages, but they focus on one common issue, which is how significant our mutual learning and cultural exchange can be.
It's been indeed a great pleasure. It's short, but it's very pleasurable. I learned a lot. I hope you have also enjoyed yourself and learned something, take something away with you from this conversation. Another warm round of applause from our audience to the panelists, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. 谢谢. 谢谢.